So in the second part of our video interview with Scott's Andrew, we're going to talk about Red Rock Resources, listed on the AIM market. RRR is the ticker. And Andrew has got the whiteboard out with the main pointers actually.
Well, everyone I think knows our market capitalization is 6 million. And our cash at the moment is?
Just shy of 2 million.
Right. And
I was wrong on that one actually. I was going to say $1 million in the bank plus.
Yeah, it's plus.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's in the middle.
so
Yeah,
maybe
that's
you
better.
should write that up.
Yeah, so actually cash in the bank.
I'll put 1.5 plus cash.
Yes, that's good.
Something in that
And
range.
then Jupiter, on Monday we're getting how much
A
cash?
buyback, yeah, another 350.
350,000 dividend.
Yep.
So another 350.
Yep, which would be plus 350.
Yeah. And then on Monday, the Jupiter prospectus is starting its exposure period on the ASX, which will be 5 days.
It's doing quite well in Australia though, actually. There's a lot of interest in that.
You will
Reading the
read all
Australian
about
press.
it on Monday.
Yeah.
But I think when people read about that on Monday, they'll be absolutely blown away. And there was an article in the Australian yesterday which pointed out that the last 2 years' dividend had been equivalent of 10% of what's going to be the market capitalization on listing. And of course, as we know, the manganese price is more than double what it was then, now, and the production is higher. And the prospectus says that there's a policy of paying out 70% of everything received. So you could say, well, if the manganese price remains somewhere near where it is now, within say 10%, then the dividend yield this year would be 25%. So we feel a bit bad. We've had to, at this price of 40 cents, sell 20% of our stock in order to get the float. Obviously, we weren't going to dilute by raising more money because the company is throwing off so much cash. But with an $800 million capitalization, we'll be selling 20%, we'll be keeping 80%, but that gives enough of a public float that maybe in 2 or 3 months, it will actually be an index stock in Australia. I think it's quite likely, because even the Australian suggested that it was only 50% of the valuation of its nearest comparator. And actually the truth is, it's less than 50% of the valuation. And that would just take it to say a 4.5% historic yield, more or less. But if you actually look at where it is now and the immediate prospects and the manganese price, I think it should be a whole lot higher. So it could easily be a $2 billion stock. And we're still going to have 1% plus of it. 20 million Australian.
Yeah, we ran with that story yesterday on Share Talk. We published that.
Yeah.
And like you said, the newspaper.
So if you just take what we're selling, 4.7 million shares at 40 cents is 3 million Australian, is it? No, 4.7 million shares at 40 cents is 2 million Australian, which is about 1.1 million pounds.
Yeah.
So we can add that.
Yeah. 1.x million.
1.8 million. And then,
Are you still involved with Jupiter Mines?
yeah.
Because you were in Australia not so long ago, weren't you? I remember that,
And
yeah.
then Colombia, here, in April or May, we get repaid
750k US.
plus interest.
Plus, yeah, plus a bit. Yeah.
So that's another 450, 500
Yep.
there coming in a month or so.
Yep.
So what does all that add up to? 2.6, maybe 3 point.
Depends on what
4,
you want.
3.5 million
Yeah,
pounds
something like that. We'll call it 3.5 maybe.
by May.
And your market cap at the moment is 6.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's good cash backing. But we will still have $3 million more or less of royalties coming through Colombia over a period. We'll still have our interest in Kenya. We'll still have our 22% of steel mint. And we'll still have 1% in Jupiter. And as we say, we'll be nearly 20 million shares at 0.4. So that's Australian dollars 8 million to start with after we've got that cash. But we think it should perform extremely well. So what will it go to? Will it double to 16 million? Will it go 3 times to 24
Well, the Australian market really
The
likes
nice
it.
thing is that unlike when Jupiter was private, we don't have to guess anymore. The market will
No,
vote,
the
and we'll
market-
know, and hopefully, I think we'll all see that feed into Red Rock.
And, you know,
As it used to do when they were
Yeah.
listed.
Quite frankly, if it doesn't go up to here or here, why do we care? It's escrowed for a year anyway, and it should be paying an extremely healthy dividend. So we're very happy to live on the cash flows from that. Steel mill will be in production April.
That's an interesting one, that, because you had, I know, 3 shareholders who went across for the site visit.
Yes, correct, yes.
Yeah,
I
it's
think they were all
impressive.
impressed. It's an impressive facility.
It looks good because the pictures you released,
Yeah.
we actually put some blogs out.
Sure.
Like I said, it's in Bosnia, and it looks like it's not far, or it's ready to go.
Very much.
That's the way I'm trying to say it.
Very much.
Yeah.
Not putting words in your mouth.
So you've got, but when people read this, I haven't even touched on how good it really is. Read about it, you can see how good it is.
I've seen that. I've covered that in Australia, and it's that's what they're talking about across there.
It's a very
It's
professional
a
business.
big story.
It's the biggest issue in
Yeah.
Australia for a long time.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have this. So the rest of the business is valued at 2.5 million, for which you get the Jupiter stake, the steel mill stake, which will be in production soon, and that's quite a valuable business. You've got Kenya,
Yeah, and then a 3 million royalty that pays out over time,
and
give or take.
Kenya, do we think we're going to get those licenses back? Yes, we do, but watch this space. That could be the next thing.
You were across there as well, weren't you, meeting the minister?
Well, of course, there the whole time.
I'll send you the
There's been more-
DM,
I
yeah.
think as a data point, there's been more meetings in the last 6 months than probably in the last 2 years. So.
If Andrew collects his air miles, he'll be doing okay.
It's a good sign that the government's calling you, let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's true. Isn't it?
Yeah, yes. Well, when you take the government to court, you probably end up in a situation where everybody gets sick of it and wants to find a solution.
Yeah, nobody wins. So have
that's-
you mentioned Cobalt?
No, because here we have, I mean, people sometimes say, what's happening with elephant oil? Well, the oil price is looking better, things are happening there, still got our interest, it's quite small. What's happening with Ivory Coast? Or would you rather be concentrated at the moment, when we haven't got a lot of money, though we've got money coming in now, would you rather that we use the small amounts of money we had up till recently on dealing with some of these things, like paying the interest on steel mill, the loan which we got repaid,
Pursuing that.
pursuing Kenya, so on, or would you rather be spending some now time on Ivory Coast? So you know, everything has its time, as you see. DRC, we're doing due diligence.
Yeah.
We've got this cobalt copper tailings project there. The cobalt price, when we started looking at this, was about 79,000. As of today, it's about 87,000. So looking good, and we're expecting drilling to start there on the tailings that haven't been tested yet. Imminently, we're making.
So you may be expecting news sooner rather than later.
We owe the market news at some point, yes.
Right,
That's
yeah.
for sure.
So, we think we have revenue streams here, revenue stream coming here, revenue stream coming here. Obviously, I can't say anything about this at the moment because we're all in litigation, negotiation, whatever.
But you could say that's pure upside. So I mean,
Pure upside.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yes.
you have both a combination of revenue streams and some investments that offer significant upside. Jupiter, as we've discussed, steel then as it gets into production. Then obviously, if you recover the asset, it's pure upside to this ridiculous market cap.
And so we're going to be quite cash rich. Are we going to waste it? No, I think the work we would do in Congo, if we were in DRC, the next stage is to get to the next milestones. And not that expensive, and when we've done them, there will be plenty of people wanting to partner and do things with us. So we have ideas about how we'd handle that anyway. Are we going to go and invest huge amounts of money in the Congo that can be lost in fixed plants and equipment? No, obviously we're not. We're not that kind of company. But do we see an opportunity there? Sure. having tailings where the copper alone is higher grade than a lot of the resources that people are exploiting elsewhere, whether it's Namibia or Zambia or Chile, it's obviously attractive.
We did last year, in September last year, we did a share talk show at the Next Exchange. And Andrew talked about Regency Mines, but then you went straight on to Red Rock Resources. And at the time I could see you couldn't really contain yourself because you were looking at Red Rock Resources.
Well, right, I mean,
and inside your heads, the cogs must have been working. So now we jump forward from September 2017 to March 2018. And you've wrote it all up on a board.
Yeah.
And I can see why
Because
that evening you were getting...
We had an idea.
Yeah.
This should be happening. We expected the manganese price to be continue strong. We already knew and announced what we were trying to do there.
You were just
we
building
thought
that,
it was to work. Colombia, we could see there was some progress, and the company out there will be paying $750,000. Has been raising money and doing quite well with the Canadian exchange. Third is going to have the money to repass that. And we were thinking, yeah, you know, if we sit back and do very, very little, this box should be ticked, this box should be ticked. And in fact, somebody who invested in us at the time more or less suggested to us, why don't you all go home, stop paying anyone, stop having an office, and just wait for the money to come in. But the truth is, there's a lot of value there. There is quite a bit of work that had to be done.
But you started out the debit package for that one, didn't you?
And this is, yes.
And we still sit on the board of Steelman, so we're involved in its future.
I've seen that news release. That was
Steelman's plans obviously are to get into production, but also to look at other acquisitions. So Steelman's story is not over by any stretch, it's just beginning.
No, it hasn't even started really, truth be known.
But one thing I'd say is everything we promised people last year, and everything we promised people this year, that we were doing, we've done. We promised people we told them we're reducing our overhead. We did it. We told people, and again now going back 2 or 3 years, we told people we are going for revenue producing assets. We're focusing on how we can get capital sums, but also how we can get recurring income from our assets. All these things we have done. And I think the share price performance in the last couple of years has begun to reflect that. And we have not gone out and issued a lot of stock. We've been very parsimonious because we could see how much value was locked in. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we've been very conservative with the financing the last couple of years, and things have lined up, which is why we're all very excited.
I think it's reflecting as well in the movement in the share price.
Yes, anybody that's got in over the last year has done all right, but we think it's just beginning, obviously.
Yeah.
Again, just do the math. Just look at the number, do the math. So make your own decisions, obviously, but we're excited.
Gentlemen, thanks very much, and it's quite a good exclusive this actually. I'm sure when your shareholders watch this, when we publish it, they'll have a lot to say.
Well, the market is definitely going to be closed when this goes out.
Yeah, this is Friday the 16th of March. This will be published next week.
That's perfect, because by then
That's when I'll go out.
stuff will be out anyway.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.